What is up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and today we're talking about Metalite and their new album, A Virtual World, via AFM Records.
A virtual world, a cloud in the sky, it's calling you, dreaming of eternal life.
And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Metalite is a relatively new Swedish power metal band previously known for albums Heroes in Time in 2017 and Biomechanicals in 2019. A Virtual World is now their third album and the second to feature new vocalist Erica Ohlsson. While I wasn't previously aware of the band or even a big fan of power metal in general, it came to me at a time where I was just in the mood for something fun and with a lot of energy, and boy do they deliver on that promise. With a similar vibe to groups like Dragon Force, A Virtual World is pure blockbuster schlock that I'm certain could get even the most cynical of metalheads smiling and banging their head. I really don't think that I can understate the sheer catchiness of this album. I was actually in a horrible mood when I first started my listening cycle on this one, but by the time the vampire song rolled around, somewhat ironic to the title, it was like a dark cloud being blown aside with the sun finally shining through. There is no way you can listen to this song without being compelled to sing along with the utterly infectious chorus. From Erica's soaring sing-along lyrics and the simple but effective guitar riffs to the bouncy, shimmering electronic synth, this is the pinnacle of pop songwriting in metal.
As the sun goes down and the sky turns black, my eyes begin to glow.
Even sappy power ballads like Alone end up getting under your skin pretty quickly in a way that I generally only associate with classic Journey songs. We're talking 3 beers in at the karaoke bar and Don't Stop Believing hits the jukebox kind of energy. But if you want something a little faster, that's actually the vast majority of A Virtual World. Just take the title track for one, which is a powerful driving anthem to open up the album on a high note. Aside from sporting yet another highly infectious chorus that you heard at the top, this one also delivers on plenty of killer riffs that at times even bring a little early In Flames Gothenburg energy alongside the righteous soloing. And speaking of In Flames, it makes me wonder if those riffs are more than just a coincidence, given that there is actually another excellent track sharing the title of Cloud Connected with the song of the same name from Reroute to Remain. Given the two take pretty different approaches overall in terms of the final product, but it still makes for another interesting connection.
This name keeps coming up over and over again every day.
Another fast favorite of mine is Beyond the Horizon. This one has a ridiculously uplifting synth part in the intro and chorus that reminds me of Equilibrium's best work, and conjures similar imagery of vast windswept countrysides with Valkyries riding forwards on horseback. I get caught up in this one like I'm 9 years old and it's Christmas morning. Now that's not to say that every song is a winner by any means. Talisman is one that more often than not actually kind of gets a skip. It's far from terrible, but it feels generic and lacking in memorable hooks when compared to the stronger tracks on the album. I also have mixed feelings about lead single Peacekeeper, which despite having some really top-notch moments during the verses, has a chorus that steps over the line from fun and campy to just outright lame. It honestly feels like an intentionally stereotypical lampooning of the genre I might expect from the creators of South Park.
Keepers of peace.
Now you're a man,
Man, what an underrated movie. But anyways, yeah, it's not always perfect, and it's also probably about 2 songs too long. Alone feels like the perfect closer to the album to me, and this would also put A Virtual World at a nice clean 40 minutes, which I've generally found to be the sweet spot for something like this. Thankfully though, it still breezes by most listens, and even the slightly cringy or even less interesting parts rarely detract from the total package enough to ruin the experience. For those reasons, I give A Virtual World an 8 for enjoyability. Again, imperfect perfect, but with enough really great playlist-worthy songs to warrant recommending it to pretty wide audiences. I give it an 8 for musicianship, definitely some excellent riffs and very solid songwriting over the course of this album, with the synth occasionally stealing the show with some really earworm melodies. And I give it a 7 for innovation. Pretty typical stuff overall, but it was also just what I needed at the time and something I look forward to revisiting when I need a little extra pep to get through the day. So a 7.7 overall and a pretty high C+, just short of a B- for Metalite and A Virtual World. Get it once more via AFM Records. And it's time for another shout out in a similar vein with Sirenia and their new album Riddles, Ruins, and Revelations via Napalm Records. Sirenia are a Norwegian symphonic metal band now with 10 albums under their belt since their inception in 2001. This is the follow-up to 2018's Arcane Astral Aeons. I almost did a review for this record when it came out in February, but unfortunately it dropped during an already very busy week of other releases and I just didn't have the time. In any case, the reasons I like Sirenia are very related to the same reasons I enjoyed Metalite. It's just fun. Amidst my usual onslaught of bitter black and death metal and raucous hardcore, sometimes I just need a little bit of a palate cleanser. Something that is catchy without having to resort to the endless repetition of the radio. Just checking out the lead single, Addiction Number 1, that's exactly what you're gonna get. Metal guitars, massive sounding orchestration, sparing use of death growls, and electronica collide in a pretty impressive display of atmosphere. Certain moments even remind me a little of Rammstein, as with Into Infinity, though the vaguely industrial instrumentation of these parts is still always offset by the more operatic approach to the vocals. So yeah, if you're looking for more music like this, or maybe wanted something that leans more heavily into the symphonic side of the spectrum than Metalite, Sirenia is another solid bet. Y'all, thanks as always for watching, and let me know what did you think of these albums down below. What's your favorite symphonic or power metal band? What's your favorite album from those genres so far this year? And hey, stick around, I got plenty more videos coming right after this one. More full album reviews, interviews with bands on the podcast, tier lists, you name it, we've got it. So plenty of reasons to subscribe if you have not already. Also chat with us on the Discord and support on Patreon. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.